And hey, and shout out Markelle. Markelle got 7 minutes. I'd love to see Markelle back in the league. He was actually balling.
Talking about Fultz.
Markelle Fultz, he was balling with the
Yeah.
Magic a couple years ago. He figured out whatever the issue was with his shot when he got in the league with the Sixers. He kind of figured it out. He had his comeback with the Magic, but then injuries derailed that. He's been out of the league for a few years. But it got so bad that this man that's been out of the league for a few years got to play for 7 minutes. And shout out him. Like that's wonderful. I love that Markelle's back in the league. But this guy that ain't played in like 3 years is getting to play 7 minutes on you because his team's already beat you by 40 and they're shooting 57% on you. I mean,
what? Let me ask you that. And I want you to pick back on that, Matthew. There's two people. When you said that, who my mind automatically went to when they talked about Markelle fixing a shot? My mind automatically went to Lonzo Ball, right? Let me ask you this. Matthew, the same guys that made these guys top prospects, they love Markelle Fultz, for what he did to get where he was at to the NBA. So does Lonzo, right? Should you have changed both the guys' shot to something a little bit different? I mean, it got them where they at, obviously.
I mean, I honestly don't know what happened with Markelle. I mean, his shot was a little weird, but it was just inexplicable the way things went in Philly, where it was like...
It was crazy.
Where he wasn't playing. The rumors were that he was scared to shoot, but we don't know what's really going on behind the scenes. So his situation, I'm gonna claim ignorance on. Lonzo's shot needed to be fixed. Lonzo, when he came in the league, had one of the ugliest shots I've ever seen. Lonzo's shot was hideous, and but it's a real shame because he had figured it out. By those last 2 years, he was healthy. One of those years with the Pelicans and in limited minutes with the Bulls, he had got his 3-point percentage. One of those seasons above 40, one of them damn near close to 40, and he was averaging for that season where he played like 65 games with the Pelicans. He was averaging like 14, 6, and 6. I think he was finding his role. He was a great perimeter defender. He was playmaking at a high level. He was hitting the three-pointer. I think he was settling into a role, and if not for injuries, because he just had some gruesome injuries with his knee. I believe he got somebody else's knee inside of him right now, or I think he's playing on somebody else's kneecap or whatever the story is. He's playing on somebody else's something, somebody else's right leg, somebody else's kneecap. I don't know. He's playing on somebody else's something. But I think despite how he came in the league with that ugly ass shot, I think he had totally figured it out, and I think he'd be a borderline all-star Jason Kidd type player if he could still play. But we saw in limited minutes this year with Cleveland that I think the injuries have just decimated his body too much. He can't get separation. He don't have any burst. When you can't get separation, you can't make shots. His shooting percentages were down, But I think he's a hell of a playmaker. I think he's an A minus playmaker. I think he's a B plus perimeter defender. Maybe could be A minus. And so Markelle, I don't know what went on there. But with Lonzo, I really think he figured it out. And I think it's like a huge what if that's kind of slept on because people don't really talk about it. I think it's a huge what if he didn't have these mid-career injury